नमस्कार, मैं सान्या राज फिर से आपके साथ जुड़ी हूँ और आज जो हम अभी मैं बात करूँगी, मैं दीप्ति पिनिती से बात करूँगी जो कि एसएसआर डायरीज़ के बारे में हमसे कुछ बताएँगी, जो कि उनकी रिसर्च है और कैसे उन्होंने उनको हासिल किया। तो दीप्ति जी हमसे जुड़ेंगी और मैं उनको अब लूँगी वापस अपने स्क्रीन में। अ, नमस्कार दीप्ति जी।
Hello, hello, hi, Sanya ji.
कैसे हैं
Thank you
आप?
for calling me. Yeah, I'm fine.
मोस्ट वेलकम, आप परेशान
Yeah, yeah.
दीप्ति आप अभी आई हैं, तो हमने जो बात करी थी द फ़ोन, हम पहले शुरू करेंगे। आप मुझे ये बताइए कि ये आपने शुरू कैसे किया ये सब आपका बैकग्राउंड क्या है?
See, background basically, I am a businesswoman from Odisha, okay, and it all started with Sridevi ji's death. I was a ardent admirer of the actress, okay, and just before her death in 2018, in 2016 September, I had met her at her place in Mumbai because I had gone there with my friend who wanted her as a chief guest of honor for his fashion fest in Lucknow. Okay. So we had a meeting. We met Sridevi ji Moni ji, and I am also one time filmmaker in Odisha. I have made a regional movie, which has won state awards as well. So I have been an ardent admirer of the actress, and I had plans to make movies with her. I had dreams of seeing her at work and all that. So when this death happened, it was a shock to the entire nation. It was a shock to me as well. And since I had some contacts in Dubai, I got some conflicting reports from ground as well, where they were saying that the people who had seen the body were saying that her body had injury marks. Okay. So what was being shown in the media and what was being reported by Arnab as well. I mean, he had also raised this point that she was not seen or heard outside her hotel room. That is, since Boni left her to go to India, she was not seen her or heard outside her hotel room for more than 48 hours. So all this raised suspicion, and then also, when I had some contacts. If I met Boni Kapoor and all, I had some inner contacts. I was making inquiries and all. Some people were saying that yes, there has been foul play, it's a murder. So some conflicting reports were coming. So I decided to set my mind at rest. I should decide, and since I had resources at hand, I had contacts in Indian Defence Intelligence. See, I have been an NCCC certificate holder and a gold medalist all India. So, through mutual contacts and all, I had some contacts in Indian Defence Intelligence, and under the supervision of some senior officers, I had sent a private detective agency team to Dubai, and they had come with some findings and proofs which proved that Sridevi's case was actually a pre-planned cold-blooded murder. Okay, so after that we came to India. That's an entirely different chapter. We filed the case in Supreme Court of India. We got more than 30 dates. We didn't get any hearings. There was mishandling by the Supreme Court, and then we approached the International Court of Justice, the solicitor desk, and now the case is under scrutiny in ICJ. So since both Sushant and Sridevi ji were in the same field, okay, and our investigation was happening into Sridevi's death, so we had some inner information and all. I was not into Sushant's case at all. I was not following it.
Right.
Okay. So, you people who have been covering it and pointing out each and everything, even some forensic doctors, they know more about Sushant's case, but I was not following it at all because I
जी,
am already harassed and drained since I took up Sridevi's case. So, I was neck deep in that.
right.
Uh, but yes, I just had a faint idea that another murder has tried to be brushed up as suicide. I just had that much idea. I didn't go into details. But our team, which was, still trying to find out more information to make our case of Sridevi strong, we got to hear that this one watchman was, fleeing to some Dubai or some Middle East country via Kolkata. We got to hear this information. So, since Sushant's case is ongoing, we thought, we should try our hand. Our team caught hold of him. And that's a different story how we managed to casual and take the drives out of him. But these drives were heavily encrypted.
The SSR
Okay.
diaries, we call them.
SSR drive. We have 8 drives. We got hard drives and one laptop from that watchman. So immediately after that, we spoke with the CBI office, Rakesh Asthana sir's office in Delhi, and through him we set up a meeting with Nupur Prasad ji. She knew that there was some information regarding drives that I had to give. I was given an appointment uh, in Mumbai office, Bandra Kurla office on 8th of March 2021. I flew down to Mumbai from Odisha in spite of the lockdown. But I was told, and in Bandra Kurla office, I mean, hardly the staff was responsive or something. And I was told that she had to urgently rush to Belapur office, which is some 3-4 kilometers, 3-4 hours away, 3-4 hours away, for some urgent work, and she won't be returning for the day. So, I mean, I couldn't go to that other office, so I decided to go to NCB office since I had some information regarding the drugs angle of Sushant's case. I mean, some feeble link down south I had. So I wanted, since I came to Mumbai, I wanted to meet Samir Wankade sir and pass this information on to him. So I went to NCB office, and since I went there without any appointment, Samir Wankade sir was not there. He was away out of station. But
Okay.
his PA Sharad ji, he was entire staff in NCB. In fact, was so encouraging when they came to know that I had some information. I came forward to give. They was very encouraging, very welcoming. And Sharad ji personally said that I will talk to him. I will set up a meeting and I will inform you over phone. So I mean, again, after I flew back to my place, and after 2 weeks, as Sharadji has promised, he set up a meeting with Samir Wankade sir. I flew back again. I met Samir sir. I passed on the information to him. He even came on one of Varun Kapoor's YouTube show and confirmed that NCB is working on the inputs given by Deepti ji. That's me. Okay. Uh, so NCB has been doing a fabulous job, but second time also I did try. Though second time I didn't have any appointment, I did try to meet Nupur Prasad ji. I also did mention to Samir Wankade sir the reason actually why I came here, and if he can pass the information to Nupur. He said he will try. He said he didn't get much to interact with Nupur Prasad ji, but if he comes across her, then he will definitely pass this information. But till now, but I never received any sort of, anyone from CBA didn't approach me. I already tried twice, so I thought that I should be putting the content, I should be sharing it on Twitter, so that when people come to know about it, they will start pressurizing to look at this as, to acknowledge this.
Exactly.
Okay. And yes, many people who do not have IT background or so, they will think that these drives cannot be used as proofs. But let me tell you, digital evidence, there is nothing like digital evidence which cannot be destroyed, which cannot be burnt. Okay. And you can also trace it through the network root, the IP, the software package details to whom it actually belonged to. Okay, so it can be used as a valid proof. Okay, and I too don't know what all is there in the drives. It's that Sushant was seriously investigating, I mean, researching on the crimes that Bollywood was associated with, mostly child trafficking, drugs. Okay, and there is some 700 GB of data in the entire drive, some videos, some proofs, some documents, and his own notes, his own journey as he, I mean, because in the drives, he is clearly saying that if someone is reading these drives, that means I am no more.
Really?
Yeah, so that's how, I mean, he knew that there was threat to his life. So he wanted to document everything, and he documented everything in so detail. I mean, all the crimes connected, starting. I mean, how Bollywood is used for money laundering, child trafficking, and drugs angle. And he has also mentioned about his AI project, okay, which some vested interests wanted to use, for data mining to get into the biometrics indexes. I mean, like Aadhaar, whichever scheme or whichever identification uses biometric factors, they will get the data at their hand. They can manipulate it. Okay. So he has also mentioned some big names were interested in his AI project for that purpose. Okay. So, I mean, going through the drives, so one can actually now make sense why Sushant's death is tried to be initially brushed aside as suicide by the police. Let me be very clear here. The moment the Mumbai police arrived on the crime scene, within 5-10 minutes, it declared. It even it came out in the press that it is a suicide. How is it that possible? Okay, so I mean, hundreds and hundreds of videos have been made on the shoddy investigations which Mumbai police did, or rather didn't do at all. The crime scene was never sealed. Okay, everyone was walking over the scene carrying some things in carry bags, uh, carrying outside, and the entire place, when the case is still in investigation, it has been refurbished, repainted, and whatnot. So
I'm with you. Yeah,
yes, so
just want to break you here. The thing is that when you were investigating Ma'am Shree Devi's, and then you said that, okay, here also, and this person you got hold of. Now my question arises is that ab jo aap kar rahi hain, you said you have not. It's 700, so it's a very very many files. 8 files.
yes,
Very.
yes.
तो ये आपने कहाँ तक पहुंची हैं? How long have you reached to decode what Sushant has written?
Hardly I have covered 25% or so.
Okay.
Okay. So now I have taken a break because I want to see each and every file. It's not like once you break the encryption, you have access to the entire data. No. He has programmed it and designed it in such a way that you have to, I mean, what do you say? To move to the next slide, you have to solve a pattern here, or you have to pass some test. I mean, if you go through the files that I have shared, you will understand. I mean, like he has done some kind of PhD or some scientific research into why these crimes have been happening since. I mean, he has covered everything from Mumbai blast, Divya Bharati's death, and how it originated from Indira Gandhi's time. I mean, everything he has meticulously broken down. How SIM cards, how fake deaths, how insurances are used to do crimes in the society, and why no crime ever gets solved in India. I mean, I don't know about outside world, but in India, no crime ever gets solved, especially if it has some big name involved. Okay, so yes, I mean, as a concerned citizen, what I came across from these drives is that Sushant was a really very good human being who was very concerned citizen who wanted the welfare of everyone. I mean, very different from the usual Bollywood stars who are selfish and think about only about themselves. He thought more about the people around, more about his nation, more about this thing. So he was into researching why these crimes happened, from where it started, how this could be tackled. This is the entire this thing of his research. And now I think since he has mentioned some very big names, he has mentioned the connection between Taj attacks and being human, and funding going from being human for that. Okay, he has mentioned some very big names uh, of the who are big heroines now, actually being queens of casting couch and all. Okay, he has touched upon his personal angle with Ankita Lokhandwala, which came as a shock to most of them. So there are many details. I have hardly covered 25% or 30% of it. And since it's taking time to decode, I have decided to take a break and decode the entire stuff and then present it. I mean, like put it in order and then come and place it in front of the public. And then
What?
again,
Yeah. Sorry. Please
yeah,
continue.
and then again, see, um, this decoding of the rest of the data, it can take any time, 7 days, 10 days, I don't know. Okay, and I have also been receiving feelers from the agencies and the governments. I mean, these drives are being the tweets about these drives are being read by the people who matter. I have received feelers for them, but I am not talking about it, or I cannot say anything for sure now, Sanyaji, because in Srideviji's case also, we had approached the President of India, we had approached the Union Law Minister, we had talks with every one of them. And most of the diplomats and all, they all promised support, and they did initially help as well, but things never ever move forward. So this time I want to proceed with caution. This time also, now after sharing the drive, some people, people in the authorities, some people in the media, some people in the agencies have reached out to me. Okay, but till some action happens, till some development happens, I would not like to talk about it.
I understand. I
Yeah,
understand.
it will be too early. Yeah.
Yes, I do understand. But one thing, like when you have these drives, I just have to put it publicly. I mean, are you aware that this could be a threat?
Threat, see, a threat has been there on me since 2018, since I took up Sri Deviji's case. Kindly understand, Sri Deviji's case was brushed up between the governments of two nations. It is not a small thing. That means the influence from highest level was involved to bury this case. And here I am trying to bring out something which the powers wanted not to come out. So the threat is there since then. But when I came across, I mean, I never had the intention to go into SSR case or even think about it or something. It just happened by chance that we received information. We thought it too good to let go.
Mm.
Okay. Uh, so that is already there. So let it be added in that package bundle. Oh, so that's why I thought, I mean, and also initially I thought that I will hand it over to the CBI and I will stay quiet.
Huh.
But since that didn't happen, the reason for me coming on Twitter is that it is because of the public pressure that this case is still alive.
Mm.
This is one fact. This is because of the public pressure that the case is still alive. I thought maybe if I share these things on the social media, the people will then raise voice, and they will pressurize either the CBI to acknowledge it, or I mean, say something. Since this narrative was spread that by the time CBI came in, all the evidences were almost destroyed. That's why it is taking it so much time to for investigate. So here I am coming forward with some evidences
Right.
to help you expedite the investigations, right? So I mean,
I'm
you
with
should
you.
either acknowledge it or deny it, right? I mean, this silence is not acceptable.
Exactly. Now,
Yeah.
Deepti, what you are doing is like you're trying to be a mediator for the authorities, so they can actually put it into a kind of a fact files. If they think, as you rightly said, that either they would agree with your presentation or they will disagree, but they must at least come back with that kind of response, right?
Exactly. See, there is nothing to agree. See, one thing that can be proved beyond doubt is that these drives belong to Sushant Singh Rajput. That can be proved. Even the agencies know that that can be proved. Okay, doesn't it will not take that much time, even within a day, within 24 hours, it can be proved. It can be found out whom these drives belong to actually. It's not that. But what I'm saying is that without showing any interest to collect an evidence which is so readily available, okay, and you're not even coming out with any statements, you're not even coming out with any charge sheet, okay, it's total silence on CBI's part. Look at NCB. It has already filed charge sheet. Okay, though it is a different matter that people like Ria and others against whom NCB has filed this, they have used the loopholes in the legal system. Okay, they have used the top lawyers like Manshinde to get them bail.
Mm.
Just imagine one thing here: a person like Ria, who is not even a heroine, she is a wannabe, she's starting.
Yeah,
How can she afford Manshinde, someone like Manshinde? Where is she getting the funds from?
I'm with you.
Okay, yes. Where is she getting? And why is it okay? Let's say that only these people were involved, who Imtiaz Khatri, Sandeep Singh, these were involved. Then why is the entire government machinery, the law and order agencies, the law agencies, judicial system, why is the entire system trying to protect them? What is their agenda beyond trying to keep this matter buried? Now the matter in the drives here gives the answer. Sushant Singh Rajput, like Sridevi ji, wanted to expose the criminal nexus between Bollywood politicians, bureaucrats, diplomats, terrorists, underworld, organ trafficking, human trafficking,
Drug.
drugs, okay, all kinds of crime. I mean, this is nexus. There is a nexus. See, Sanya ji, you might be aware that I mean, there's a case in the court against. There are cases running in U.S. courts against Google, Facebook, Amazon, for invading into data and for making misusing the data of people without their consent. And there are cases against the Queen of England, the Pope, and Bill Gates Foundation for crimes against humanity.
Yeah.
Okay, so this nexus. I'm telling you, it has its international presence. It has its presence in Asia. It has its presence in India as well. There's an India wing as well, and in this India wing, I mean, they control everything. This nexus has its presence in the judiciary, in the legislature, in the bureaucracy, and in the media. They control the mainstream media as well. The only thing which is free from its clutches is the social media. Here too, in the name of regulations and all, they are making many attempts to control the social media as well. But till now, they have not been able to succeed. Hopefully, the social media will continue to remain free, because otherwise it will be easier for them to bury the truths, as mainstream media is mostly controlled. Let me tell you, in India only, about 80% of the media is owned by the Ambanis, right? CNN network, okay. Well, everything, India Today, Times Now, everything, I mean, they come directly. So,
Dipti
so
ji,
they,
sorry,
yeah.
continue that. What were you
So
saying? Continue.
this nexus is obviously worried. They do not want the drives to come out. They do
Right.
not want the contents of the drive. They didn't want Sushant to expose them. They didn't want Sridevi to expose them. That's the reason these people have been killed. They
Now
have
we
been
go
killed.
back. Now we go back to, like, this is, you very clearly said about the nexus. You're very, very, with full, you've been very daring on that.
Clarity.
And yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, at length you've spoken about it, and I'm sure it's a great awareness. Most of the people are aware, but then you are making it like a kind of a, you're factualizing it with your great research that you've done, along with other stuff that you've done. If you go back to Sushant's
And
case,
Sanya
yeah.
ji, this is not something new. In 1993, N.N. Vohra, okay,
Yeah.
N.N. Vohra, who was later even served as the governor of J&K and all. Okay, N.N. Vohra ji, okay, he prepared a committee. There was a committee prepared under him, Vohra committee, and this Vohra committee had prepared a report in 1993 where this nexus has been clearly mentioned. So this is not something new. This has been happening since 93. I mean, Divya Bharti's death. I mean, the planning for Mumbai blast started in 1989. Since then, this nexus has been there in existence. It has only grown bigger with time.
Right.
Okay.
I'm with you. When we go back to this Sushant thing, which I'm, these diaries, if you could give us some, you have mentioned about that he's written about child trafficking, he's written about, drugs and how, and he's gone back. But what do you, now we can, you still don't have fully, because you have not
No,
encrypted the
I
whole
haven't
thing.
covered. Yes, I haven't
The whole thing. But
encrypted the whole
what
thing. Yeah.
kind of lines you are seeing in this? You recognize that this case, Sushant's case, with the little information you have decoded, that this must be a murder.
This is clearly a model, because he says that he has said it in most of the slides, that whoever, if someone else is reading it, that means I am history. That means I have been laid to rest if I am killed. Okay, and he has also mentioned Sandeep and Asif. It's obvious he was referring to Sandeep Nahar and Asif Basra, as they were helping him in the investigations. Asif was helping him to investigate into Jia Khan's death, and Sandeep Nahar was helping to investigate into the drugs angle or something. And today, they too are no more. They too have died under mysterious circumstances. Their deaths have also been termed as suicide. Not only that, Sanya ji, right around Sushant's death, some 14 to 16 friends of his died.
Yeah.
From 2020 alone, some 37 deaths have happened in Bollywood alone under mysterious circumstances. And Sanis, this is not the case alone with Bollywood. Okay, we have had scientists dying regularly as well. If you do some, you can just check on the net. From 2016 to 2017 or 18, some 14 to 16 ISRO scientists died mysteriously. And this thing is happening since the death of Lal Bahadur Shastri. That too is a mystery murder. That too is a mysterious death. No one knows till date what's the reason. There are many conflicting reports as well. And then again, right 13 days after Lal Bahadur Shastriji's death, Homi Baba, the father of Indian nuclear science, Homi
Yeah.
Baba, he dies in a plane crash. And let me tell you, this has not been propagated. The media has never highlighted. The best prime minister that our country has had till date is Lal Bahadur Shastriji. He was the one who brought green revolution. He was the one who brought white revolution. He was the one who termed the Jai Jawan ki Jai Kisan. In his time, actually, the country was on its way to prosperity. Shastriji. But this thing has never been highlighted by the mainstream media. Maybe so this cycle of mysterious death that has been happening since then.
Right.
And not only Bollywood, we have had Coffee Cafe Day chair head Siddhartha. He too
Yeah.
died by suicide. That too is mysterious. And then the chairman of Muthoot, the chairman of Muthoot Group, he too died recently. Like Divya Bhati, he fell from the 4th floor and he died by accident. I think it was closed as accident or something. So there are many mysterious deaths happening around.
Right.
And
Dipti, you
Sushant,
have,
yeah.
yes, Sushant Singh, like when we go back to Sushant, because what you are trying to say is that this is a very important thing as common public to understand that these are not just things happening, suddenly. They're planned and they're
Yes,
being,
exactly.
they have a big people behind who have
Exactly.
personal interests on these issues.
Vested, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And there must be some kind of money and other stuff which is involved, the black money and everything. We're talking about money laundering and all that stuff. And
Money laundering, hawala.
right,
Just if you just read the index itself, just you will understand what all topics he has covered.
right. But tell me
Sanjay.
one thing now, since you have not had the opportunity of doing the whole thing. So if we stick on to the little you've got, and if you could just say, because you said that he's mentioned few important things, would you like to say those few important things that he has disclosed until now? Because when you went to Samir Wankhede and you spoke about it, what kind of response? Because you are a common person, what did they expect from you? Do they expect that you should continue your personal investigation, or they asked you to leave that thing there? What was that kind of
No,
conversation
no,
you?
no, no. Samir Kankre sir was very, very, very welcoming, very encouraging.
Right.
Okay, he said, anytime, Deepti ji, anything, you are free to call me anytime. I'm available. This
Right.
is the kind of response I got to him. And we are seeing it in the actions, right?
Right.
We are seeing it in the actions. The NCB has conducted so many raids, they have made so many arrests.
But
It's
Deeptiji,
a,
these
uh,
these 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 diaries, won't any authority would like to ask you that they would like to recover from you?
I just told you that I have been receiving feelers, but it will be too early to say till some development or action happens on ground. Because earlier too in Srideviji's case, I also received many promises in words and feelers and interest that they wanted to support the case. Unfortunately, things never moved forward. So I am keeping my fingers crossed. It's not that I have received from interest. Things are looking positive. It seems that the agencies want to show some action on Sushant's case. But let that let some development happen on ground, and then it will be appropriate for me to talk about it.
I'm with you. And then what do you see? Because you have been in touch with NCB, and Mr. Wankhere has been very, very, kind, and he's been very responsible officer. We've been
Yeah.
hearing very good about him, and God bless him. But what about the CBI part? Do you feel that they have been negligent, or they don't have, what kind of impression do you get?
I get this impression that, see, unfortunately, if we have to talk about reality and track records, the track record of CBI is not good. They have disappointed big time in Jia Khan's case. And there is no case to talk about. I mean, just tell me one case wherein they have actually brought out something. I would like to know actually. Is there any one case which involves high profile names and CBI has made any kind of, closure or something? I don't remember.
Okay.
So the
I
thing here
understand.
is
I
that
understand your
the
point.
thing here is that see the thing here is that uh, as I am looking at things now, CBI will definitely act, but the public has to keep the pressure on. They have to keep the pressure on. Now they have to. I mean, now they have started asking, the lawyers even started asking for the charge sheet. Why CBI has not yet filed the charge sheet yet?
Yeah.
Okay, why? Yeah,
Exactly.
why?
Because
Hmm.
what I understand is our Central Bureau of Investigation of India is extremely, extremely, very, very. I must say they're very intelligent. They know their jobs, but somehow there is a gap of the work that they've been doing and presenting, and the fact that you're saying that why charge sheet are not able to, put, that is number one question. What do you say about that? Why is it
That
not?
that also, and I don't think they have interrogated even Siddharth Patani or whoever was present on the scene that day. If you have not interrogated, I mean, you should come out. If you have not interrogated Siddharth Pitani, you have to interrogate him. I mean, if you have not yet interrogated the people who were with Sushant during his last hours, who saw him last, then what kind of investigation are we doing? What investigation have we started?
Exactly. I think that is a very valid question. Why haven't they put a custodial investigation? How can they
Exactly.
just run by and just speak to them, and then they, so this is a very, very kind of a very, they've not put it in a serious note. It just felt that they're just brushing it away under the
Exactly.
mattress.
Exactly. Because see, circumstantial evidence also, I mean, see, uh, if so many people are associated with this movement and crying for justice for Sushant, that means it is so obvious that there has been foul play, and it has been so obvious that the police didn't see it, didn't seal the crime scene in the first place. That itself raises a big question. People are walking all over it. They're carrying things from inside to outside. And then again, the height thing, and later, see, lot of games have been played. Wikipedia, it, I mean, it gives mentions a wrong height of Sushant to mention their the narrative given of hanging,
Yeah.
right? So there are, I mean, someone can't, his feet has to hang. If his feet touches the bed, the distance, the height, the distance between the fan and this bed is just equal to or lesser than Sushant's height. So
Exactly.
how can he hang? That is the question. And the marks on his neck, and the that green cloth or something which they are showing, they don't match. See, there are forensic. I am not a forensic expert, but and I haven't followed the videos. But many forensic experts have come and given their opinion as well.
Right. Right.
Okay.
I'm with you.
So,
I'm with you on that, and I'm just trying to sum up with this thing that we, with your presence, it feels both hopeful. At the same time, I hope that the agencies are listening, and we are not trying to, complain. We are trying to ask questions. This is what I understand from you. You
exactly,
are trying to ask
exactly.
questions. That I have got these information. Can you answer? Is it true or it is not? Right? And we as
Yes,
common people, we need to ask the questions, because the case is not being treated with proper derogatory, and it shows a lot of negligence with the polices, with the officers, with the authorities, and it's been delayed. So there's a
Yes, Sanyaji.
everything. Yeah, yeah.
See, I don't know. I don't know the reason behind this delay. Though, I mean, I have received feelers now, but this delay of, wherein, in spite of me flying down to Mumbai twice, that too during lockdown, I couldn't. I mean, they knew that I had this information and all. And let me tell you here that I'm not the only one to have the copies of the drives.
Okay.
Surely, there are other copies are there as well. If Sushant has taken such pain to, document it and then encrypt it, protect it by encrypting it in such a fabulous, I mean, he's a genius with coding as well, I should tell. Uh, then that means he has made other copies as well. So I am not the only one with the copies of the drives. I don't know if the CBI
Already.
has a copy already or not.
That is a very
But
valid point.
yeah, so if that is the case, then they should tell it, right?
Right.
They should come out and tell it. They should be transparent. I am trying to help them. I'm just trying to help them. I'm not accusing or saying anything against them. As a responsible citizen, I approached them first before coming out in the media. My coming out in the media is only because of the sole intention is that if the public raises voice, like it was forced, like the government and the authorities were forced to hand over the case to the CBI, and that is only because of the public outcry. Okay, so I thought this way at least they will be forced to acknowledge and act on it.
I'm with you. I
Yeah.
think, Deeptiji, you've been extremely, extremely clear. The last question I would like to put in, if you can sum up what until now you've read in a way which you think it's relevant for public to know, if you can just sum up in those 25% that you have decoded.
See, he has mostly mentioned, how the entire crime syndicate works. Okay, how they trap people. Okay, why most people are trapped into working with them. They either honey trap them or they make videos. Okay, uh, and let me tell you, Sanya ji, this is not that they have control and influence on the judiciary as well. If some big issue comes up, okay, there are, I don't want to take names, but there are certain lawyers, okay, high profile lawyers, who will first take up the case, but they will never complete it. Okay, so the game here is that if some issue comes up and they are sure that someone or the other will definitely raise a complaint against it, they will make their people only file a petition that side. Because in a case, if a petition gets accepted, another, so no one else can file on the same issue, right? So what these people do, if there is some issue like major issues, there are policy issues, decisions that they want in their favor. Because this nexus, I'm telling you, these are ones who instigate riots as well. If the government is not acting in accordance to their, you know, the policies that they want to be passed or on their terms. Or if there is some, some land or something which they want for some other purpose and the government is, trying to build some dam or something, they will just pump crores and give it to, I mean, they will bribe the activists. And it has happened in some dam project as well, and they will not allow that work to happen, take off, that project to take off. They will instigate the locals, these activists. They will instigate the locals in the place. So Sushant has touched upon all this, starting from Bollywood's connection with the underworld, right from the time of Manya survey, Dawood Ibrahim, the rise of Dawood Ibrahim, death of Divya Bhati, death of Jia Khan. Okay, he has investigated into deaths of some deaths which have been brushed aside. He has touched upon Shree Deviji's death. He has touched upon Parveen Bhabhi's death. Okay, so and he has taken some names. I like. If you just like to moderate a bit, I will start with a slide which will make people understand why Sushant started this, in what frame of mind he started writing this. Okay.
We have Deepti ji, who is letting us see some kind of files that she's able to decode it. So people who are listening, and I'm going to read some few notes here, how people are writing. People are saying justice. I think Kiranji is there. Romit Stefan is there. Selena is there. Sudesh Singh ji is there. Kiran Taneja ji there. Thank you so much for being here. Ajit Singh ji, thank you so much. Rekha ji, and then we have Losni ji, Amit, and then we have Maki, and then we have Sumangi Bahardwaj ji, and then we have Raj Kishore Nayak ji, and somebody called Trust of Life, and then we have Meher Singh ji, Meena Lata ji, and then we've been having Saroj. I've been reading from there, so I had to actually, and then, yeah, so we have a lot of people who've joined us, and they are watching us here, and we have Pratibha Khare. Yes, what were you saying, Deepti?
Yes, I will start off with a slide which will tell, which will give people an insight into the kind
Right.
of human being he is.
Yeah.
Okay, the kind of sacrifice he has done.
Right.
See, he didn't have any need to do research into all this, but
Right.
this boy Sushant always had the scientific bent of mind. He was interested in, astronomy. He even owns a land in moon, so he has a different kind of, mindset and all. So he always had this investigative mind. He wanted to research why there were so many crimes. He is someone, from his diary I come to know that he came into movies because of his interest, passion for acting. But after coming here, he witnessed the filth and the dirt that was in Bollywood, and he wanted to expose it and tackle it, handle it. Okay, not everyone does this. Not everyone is so concerned. He was already a big star. If he had told the line, he would have been promoted. He would have gotten more projects. He would have gotten more money. But he didn't want to. He wanted to, fight for us, for the society, right? So here he says, here is the slide which starts: where there is a will, there is a way. What is the virtue of human life? To give into negativity or stay positive and fight to make the world a better place to live and make the place a better social place where the values of truths shall stand strong and keep going. Recent changes in my life and the professional atmosphere I am in these days, but the fact is that no profession or personal issue are big when the entire existence of humanity is at stake. When my conscience started pricking me in my own personal capacity, feel that there is no need to step up and do something to stop this. Feel that there is a need to step up and do something to stop this. I have been breaking my brain behind this and have been doing a lot of legwork and research around the same. The amount of calls I am getting and the amount of emails I have got is being documented here. Till I am here, I will take care of everything. But when I am gone, there is nothing to worry because till this page opens up, no one will be able to spoil the work I have done. If you are reading this and have gotten access to this, you, I believe, are the person who is mentioned in the holy verses of a religious text, who is the chosen one to solve this. I might not be the chosen one to finish this. But yes, I am born as a human being. I have my own brain and my own set of thought processes. And the birth that I have got by the grace of God, I am trying to make it count. No complaints on anyone. But yes, it pains when I see that people who do matter and one word from them would have done a world of good. But what do we conclude? The conclusion is if Sushant Singh Rajput is killed, there will be the power of truth which will come back and take this further. This drive is the first one. I am starting to make notes and keep all my research and findings and shall mention about this in every angle. I take up the summary of comments which I shall be covering for now would be as follows. Number 1. Jia Khan's murder. it's not hanging, but it's a cold-blooded murder. Number 2, Paris Dogra road accident. Though not such a high-profile figure, but was one prime witness who could put much light on the same case, which is brushed aside like that of Disha. This case, which is called a lonely murder, Parveen Bhabi. Number 3, the biggest angle of how drugs is ruining the society, and the connection why scientists are missing, and the connection of this to organ and human trafficking. Number 4, the various anti-India movements that are happening and the connection it has to every political party that was ever there, ever formed, or is still functioning. Number 5, the connection between the black marketing, hawala, money laundering, and the schemes that have been running now. Number 6, some hearsay events and the matters. I have spoken to people and done some research around the same. If someone while reading this might feel what a movie star has to do with all this that is going around, I would like to put it in this way, that I too am a human being, and when you would be reading this, I would be history. And if this helps someone to make sure effort would see the light of the day, then I would feel my life was fruitful. Part 1, My Conscience Speaks. So Sanya ji here, let me make one thing clear. In one of the points he has mentioned, brushed aside like that of Disha. It doesn't mean, though it is the first drive, it doesn't mean that he started writing these drives after the death of Disha. Because there are some files wherein he has mentioned the date as September 2018. Okay. So he has been writing this over a period of time. Okay, in one of the slides, he has mentioned that all his diaries and his papers were burnt and destroyed. So that's the reason he has decided to put it in this way, in an encrypted form, making sure that this work can not be destroyed or burnt. He has made sure of this. Okay, and he has
already taken. Okay.
Yes, he has heavily secured it. I mean, it cannot fall into the wrong hands. And if it falls into the wrong hands, then that person can either be a monster or such is the kind of information that he has mentioned in the drives along with proofs. I have not yet presented the proofs in the media. Okay. So, okay. Like here he mentions, one of the main reasons for me to write in such details was since the day I have gotten into all this, I have made my efforts to reach out to the people who I felt would have gotten to the root of the cause, but none seemed interested or showed even the slightest of the concern to give me time to say what I had to say. But when that happens, it clearly means that the mess is not something which is unknown. Everyone is well aware of what is happening around, and yet has turned blind, deaf, and dumb, and have turned non responsive too. I pay my taxes on time, and I do my duty honestly. Still, I am not being given a chance to share my findings out, and yet being told to keep my mouth shut on all these issues. What is my role here? What is my gain by doing all this? What must be the next step I must be taking? Is a big confusion, which I know time will answer for sure. I duly apologize and I am sorry for eating up the time of the person who is going to read this if something happens to me. But kindly understand my frame of mind. The dead cannot speak. And if you have laid your hands on this, that means I have stopped breathing. And I don't want you to go through the same pain I have gone through. And God Almighty only knows what kind of situation you would be in mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. If the myth that a soul can see everything from above and does guide people, which I myself have experienced too, during the course of this, when you get to that stage where the efforts of yours are close to results and you are under any pressure, this work of mine will guide you to a spot. And there you will find something which will actually help you fight this much better. If giving this out right now might make you feel that you have become successful in trying to destroy my work, let me make one point very clear over here, that each and every single file is encrypted and you will need real effort to destroy the encryption and try to understand what is the real research all about. But if you found success in opening this page, After reading up the matter, which I had carefully streamlined in a jumbled way, then that means yours and my thought process is the same. I have been a person with a clean heart and always wished good for everyone. And I am sure, as my conscience says, this will not get into wrong hands. Before you continue any further, please remember one thing, that continuing from here means you are trying to give shape to the dreams of someone who laid his life for this. And any kind of intentions otherwise, kindly stop right here. My AI and other researchers are in right hands, and the moment I passed away, there is one team of frustrated individuals who shall come into action when everything shall die down, and the matter will be forgiven altogether. So, not just the soul concept or the science behind souls. My team, the people whom I trust, the people neither the society nor you as a reader would be knowing now, till your actions start to show, will have any idea what plans and backups I have prepared. With this, I again would want to finally say, before I give another introduction on how to get to the files and folders that shall lead you to the world that I would consider is my kind of world, let me make one thing clear. There would be a lot of explanations on each and every minute aspect, and you will need to have a lot of patience and your rewards if my conditions are met or waiting for you. Long live humanity. My conscience speaks.
Beautiful.
Okay. So, I mean, of course, he has been, it's like a diary. Uh, are you okay, Sanya ji?
I'm okay. I'm just taken aback. I feel very upset, but I understand that this had to be done. It's really, really upsetting. It is not okay. This happened to this boy. It's not okay, and we will fight. We will fight, Dipti ji. We will fight. This is not done. This boy shouldn't have gone. I believe in spirituality. I believe that life has its own course. So I trust life. But the wrong dones cannot be. Uh, no, this is not okay. So we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight until justice is served. Until truth comes out. We will fight. We have to fight. So that is
Yeah.
what it is. So, but anything, Diptiji, anything,
Yes, there is one mention of Sridevi ji's case here. I would like to read that slide out.
yeah,
Okay. The next aspect of the case would revolve around the connections between Bollywood, sport, and the underworld. I still remember it like yesterday, when the meetings of the Producers Guild happened to discuss the death of Sridevi ji. I was not able to attend the meet physically, but one telephone call changed my entire perspective of the industry I work for and I'm continuing to work for. Back then, I felt that the way things were explained to me, I was definitely under the impression that was not an accidental drawn case. But the biggest question that remained in my mind and continues to remain is, why is the family silent? This was the first shock on my conscience. But what could be done? I am just mentioning about this to make people aware that this, what I have done, is not a joke. But the fact is that I am doing this only for myself because my conscience is making me do this. Kindly don't misunderstand me on anything, as I very clearly would want to make the reader who is reading this to understand that when the family is not interested in pursuing the case, what could I do? This made me do a lot of research around the same, which helped me reach to the roots of this cabal and conclude that this is real, filthy, and deep. The connections the connected industries have is filthy and deep and closely connected to each other. And this will be covered in a separate disc wherein I will do a detailed analysis on the same. And the thing is as simple as this. We are three people, myself, Asif ji, and Sandeep. We will work on each of these aspects, which I shall explain in detail in the next part of this discussion. But before that, let me explain the total context on the various aspects that I am going to cover. This detailed analysis will be explained very, very carefully because the real heroine slash hero in real life is Shree Deviji, and we all are nothing but mere pieces of paper in front of her. I am not sure what is the news that is out in social media platforms, out that a team is doing its bit for the purpose of getting justice for the noble soul. But I am not sure whether I should take help to reach out to this team and share infos that we got as a mandate from the Producers Guild. I will do my bit of research around this and will definitely try and get in touch with the team if my life is written that long. Anyone reading this, please don't get confused about what I was up to. But the real catalyst that did the role of filling my conscience with questions was the death of Sridevi, which later started making a lot of sense when there came out some reports which made complete and total sense for me to conclude that what I as a human being was thinking all this while was true, and my conscience is clear as pure water. Despite whatever is the situation I am facing, since the time I started looking into these deaths, I would conclude this segment on the following notes. Every death that has been closed as mysterious is most probably a cold blooded murder which was brushed down the carpet with influence, status, power, and money. Within brackets, my conscience speaks. Okay. And I don't want to, I mean, read too many. There is a lot of data. There is a lot of data. There is a lot of mention of some very big names. But yes, Sanya ji, I was going through, you had covered, you had interviewed Rabia ji as well, right? Okay. So there is some more mention about Jia Khan's case. I would like to read those slides for the viewer.
Please do.
Okay. Just a couple of slides more.
Here we are talking with Deepti ji. She has enclosed and coming forward with the data that Sushant had himself written. And I totally believe that this is his writings because this is the guy he is. He is the guy who speaks to truth. He's the fearless Sushant, and he will not, he will speak for humanity. He's been doing that. We've seen through his actions. I don't find that whatever it's been written and what we are hearing today, all of you here who are listening, this has to be Sushant, who's been writing and trying to inform. Please, Deeptiji.
Yeah. So, Jia Khan, within brackets, 20 February 1988 to 3rd June 2013. Reported cause of death, suicide by hanging. Reported time of death, 11 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. My findings are as follows. The death happened before she was hanged. My course of investigations revealed that there was no trace of any undigested food in her body, and there was a plate of food on the table where the body was found. The biggest confusion what hits me at this venture is what is the time of death? Just because from 10:48 to 11:21, Suraj and Jia chatted with each other, and suddenly Rabiaji returned and found her hanging from the fan. Karthik and Neha, what connections have the two in the chats which Suraj and Jia had? And the biggest question mark which keeps me from believing this is a suicide is that she had an abortion, and this accounts to so much pain and pressure on one's mind and gives Thai the thought of revenge by default. The next important aspect that needs to be investigated is when she knew Suraj was to take her for dinner, what was dinner doing in her room? And how is it possible that there is no trace of dehydration or structural changes in her neck if she actually did suicide? I am writing all this because after my thorough investigations that I have done with respect to this incident, I have it printed like fresh in my mind. But it's my responsibility to make the person aware of the backdrop of events that led to my findings, as these things will not only come up if I am history. And I don't want to trust the system or anyone for that matter, because whenever wanted to take this issue up, I had no support. I was beaten black and blue and was blacklisted from work too. Years of hard work got me what I didn't deserve, but I really don't care about anything. As a God loving human, I am following my heart. and doing what is right according to my heart and my soul. The mystery unfolds as follows. My doubts that this is homicide got confirmed when CBI leaked the charge sheet online, and I did my bit trying to inform everyone who could take note of the issue by letting them know that there are a lot of evidences to prove that a hell lot of money was spent to misguide the case and damage the evidences. Today, when I am thinking on all these grounds to start up my own venture, to do what I want to do, I am penning down everything so that I myself don't miss out on anything and then make a mess of things. Within brackets, 27 September 2018. I shall continue my investigations in a secret manner as I have not many people whom I can bank on. Sarah and Saif too are putting too much pressure on me to let go of this. People trying to suppress my findings in what is the truth and dictate terms on me whether I should continue or I should not. I am doing my bit to keep that innocent soul motivated on the movie sets, but all I get in return is troll for trying to do what my heart is telling me to. Gia had gotten to know a lot of things, and my limited interactions with her makes me want to ask these following questions to my mind. Number one, why did Salman Khan transfer 2 crores to the commissioner's account? I found that I found this out and tried to investigate this angle, only to know that the account now ceased to exist as on 30th September 2018. What was the motive behind this transfer? But what is the most shocking is that this transfer has happened on 24th of February 2013. Does this mean that the entire incident was pre-planned and the cover-up was already even before the crime actually happened? Being Human is an NGO kind of organization. And what are Salman's intentions behind the transfer? Number two, Suraj Pancholi was carrying cash amount of 5 crores. Why was he carrying so much cash? And why was this not brought out when he was arrested and also when he was in custody? Back then, I was not involved in this case, but a casual interaction with an intoxicated Suraj and him telling with his own mouth that he was carrying cash to bury the matter. Where is this heading to now? Number three, Jia and Suraj were partying in Goa. Why did the Atul Agnihotri family join them all of a sudden? And what is the discussion that happened here, which made Jia blurt out in her suicide note that Suraj ruined her Christmas and also didn't spend Valentine's Day with her? And also the promise that was made to her by Suraj that he will get engaged to her very soon. Number four, as per the network and tower signals and the story that was put out, Suraj was well Suraj very well knew Jia was to meet him, but what made him avoid her when she landed up in her house? By telling he is in a meeting with Aditya Pancholi. And the most important matter here is that Kangana Ranawat, Suraj Pancholi, and Aditya Pancholi. Something seriously is cooking up here. Now, when I rewind the entire incident in my mind, I begin to feel everything that is going on from the past couple of years is a massive cover up to establish it for a fact that people are targeting the Pancholi family. So, getting back to the initial point, the story of Suraj sending Jia back is having connections to Kangana in one way or the other. I cannot conclude on Kangana's involvement, but can for sure say one thing is that she knows a lot about this. And when she is speaking like a loudspeaker, why is she not having answers to my questions or the questions that are being put to her from my trusted sources? Was Jia not a fellow actress? And why is the entire industry trying to play fall with everything when it comes to one question? What is the truth behind Jia Khan? Number five, Asif Bhai too has tried his ways out to get to the roots of the matter and is one prime support to me when this issue is of concern. Of the very few people who are genuinely good, and even Asif Bhai backing off now gives me the clear-cut feelings that this incident needs to be investigated thoroughly and make sure that the truth is found out very very soon. Within brackets 18th of December 2018. So, I mean, Divya Bharati's death also, he has made a detailed study. He has put forward his findings. And he's not just narrating it. There are some 300 videos or so. I'm yet to go through them. There is a lot of data. So I am falling short of time actually to go through all the material is there that is there. So
Dipti,
it's like
this was an eye opener,
hmm,
and I am so much thankful to you, and I just hope, God bless you. I hope that whatever the point is, that you are relaying a kind of a, you're putting forward some things, and I really hope from the bottom of my heart that the NCBs and CBIs see what you're talking about, understand, and they really come with a response. They cannot be doing what they're doing. There has to be a
exactly.
movement. There has to
There
be a
has to be
dynamism,
there
right?
has to be accountability. They
Ex-
are accountable for their actions.
Right, right.
It's
I'm
they
totally with you.
cannot take years and years together for investigations in the name of investigations. Come on. It has to be closed within 6 months. After a crime, I mean, if you're not able to find immediately after the crime, what will happen? I mean, like as long as the time passes, it will become more difficult.
Exactly, exactly. So they are just passing the time, and
Ex-
whatever the situation is, I'm not saying. See the point. There is always a gap, right? What people in action, what they're doing, I don't know. After the crime has happened and it's taken such a long time, what is CBI doing? What is it? They cannot be investigating 24 hours from last 365 days. What
and
are we
then
doing?
let me tell you, Sanaji, there is no doubt on their competency. They are very
Exactly.
competent.
Yes,
Just recently in Antilla case, with what speed the CBI worked, with what speed the police worked, with what speed the judiciary worked. Supreme Court of India rejects the petition. It comes back to Mumbai Court. Mumbai Court also passes judgment, interim judgment on one thing. My God, such a speed! If the judiciary and the law agencies and the CBI and everyone can function with such a speed, recover the drives from inside the river. Come on, what happened with other cases?
exactly. I'm with you. So the point is that you've been extremely black and white. There is nothing more one can say. You have put them on the center stage. And I just hope, I hope from the bottom of my heart that these people put things into perspective and they come forward. And as you've given us a light, I hope I feel very hopeful with Samir Vankhareji, leading the show in NCB. And as you've also given a lot of good impression on that. And I hope CBI will do, because as you're rightly saying, they're very effective. The very intelligent intelligence bureau we have judiciary, which is absolutely to the point. But we are asking questions. What's happening with these cases? What is happening with Sushant case? What is happening with Jia's case? It's been 8 years. I've been personally talking with the Jia's mother. What is happening with these? They were young kids. They were the future of India. For God's sake, why could this happen to these people? We must have these answers from these authorities.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly, and we have a lot of hopes from the present government, present Prime Minister Modi ji. So that's the reason we are all raising voices. That okay, we are saying, of course, it is. I mean, the politics and the mainly the political structure in the India. It needs a lot of reforms. Mostly the people who are the lawmakers, they have cases against them.
Yeah.
Just imagine how can the country, I mean, function properly in such a scenario. So that is a different thing. We are saying is that why we are raising the voices is that we want to pass this message on to the our Prime Minister Modi ji and Amit Shah ji. We are with you, sir. The system needs cleaning. Of course, there has been years of death, and there is a lot of influence to for easy profits. Our youth are being, I mean, made drug addicts. Okay, it's he has Sushant has explained in detail how it starts from pubs and all. You know what, Sanya ji? It's worrying, but I know about some incidents in South where this big politicians they own educational institutions, and they give backdoor access to these drug peddlers as well to the students. Just imagine.
Mm, mm.
He has explained in detail how these people, and once they are given the drugs and once they are made, they're addicted to it, how these people use for them for other crimes and all. So yes, so
This is Dipti ji, this what you're saying is very well known, but it is very good. It's coming again out. We are repressing, as you said, Shree Prime Minister Modi ji and Amit Shah ji, everybody. We have full respect and regard. We just hope that we want justice, and we hope that they would take note of this. They would take these
and
things into consideration.
and yes, justice delayed is justice denied. You
Right.
can't say that it will take, it cannot take. Crime happened max to max 6 months, with max to max 1 year. It has to reach closure, otherwise, there is no point. I mean, judgments coming after 28 years. I mean,
Right.
so a case crystal clear as Nirbhaya, where it was everything was, I mean, there was no question about the involvement of the culprits. It takes 7 years.
Absolutely. And
What can be a bigger joke than this?
absolutely. And like he has a 75 years old father. I mean, for God's sake, he lost that old person. I can only feel his pain. He lost his such an intelligent genius of a son. For God, before he, until he lives, he should at least get the closure of the son and say, कि, okay, मेरे बेटे का मुझे पता चला है क्या हुआ है वो अभी he's just 75. I mean, for God's sake, he's got 4 sisters. They all are waiting. I mean, I just hope that Modi ji really looks into this matter personally. We just can, pray with folded hands to our Prime Minister of our country and Amit Shah, that I just hope he can really not, because I feel, Deepti ji, that Sushant case is become an anchor case for all the injustice done to this world, to the India especially. It's the anchor case. This case can voice for all the cases, Dishal, Jia Khan, all the unnamed cases that you're talking about, Sandeep, Asif ji, everybody. It's all, this is the anchor case. So if this case is solved, then we will be hoping that all the other cases will come. So we just hope that, as you're rightly saying, that our Prime Minister is going to take a look at this particular case personally, and he would, fast forward this process so that we,
Exactly.
as Caesarians, as commoners who believe in justice and truth in this nation, and we have respect for the Constitution of India. Both you and me come from, you're an NCC cadet, you have been working in the defense, and you have that background. I come from a defense background. My father was in the Air Force. So we have full regard for our, Constitution. And we are nationals. So I just hope, and I'm so grateful to you, Giditi, that you came and you spent this time, and the way you are. I can only say God bless you, and just take care of
Thank
yourself.
you.
And
Sure.
I just hope that your all efforts will come to some good end, and we will get the closure for our loved Sushant Singh Rajput. Thank you so
Definitely, definitely, definitely. We are
Right.
not going to stop. We are not going to forget this time.
We will not. We will
We
not
are
do
not
that.
going to forget this. Yes.
We will not. Literally. I can just only thank you so much for today, and I will connect back with you again.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sanjay. Thank you for this platform. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Deepti. So this was Deepti ji, who came forward, and with so much of guts, she presented the facts that she has taken hold of. And I just wanted to let every one of you know that all this which has been spoken, this is an eye opener. This is a matter of concern. We need to get aware of how societies are built, what are the nexus system, what kind of chains are built to actually, suffocate few, especially those who raise their voice for truth and justice. And I want to tell you that, as Sushant said, that even if he's the history, he listened to his conscience. It's his conscience all the time he listened to. So we as Caesarians, we must raise our voice. We have to listen to our conscience. We are not against anybody individual. We are not against anybody. We are for truth and justice. And we stand by Sushant Singh Rajput because I believe personally he was a gem of a person, and he needs a proper closure. Through our justice, through our constitution, through our officers, authorities, we need to hear the truth so that justice can be served to the loved son of our nation, Sushant Singh Rajput. Namaskar, Jai Hind.